All right, we live. This is the BTonez podcast, and I got a question for everybody watching. Have you ever been nervous to start something brand new? I'm talking about you've never tried it before, you've never had the skills, you think you didn't have the skills before, but it's something you were passionate about, something you wanted to share, but you just didn't know how to start. Well, today's episode is for you. Because today, man, I got my good friend and good brother, Mr. Jason Youngblood, who has an incredible story, an incredible background. And we're just going to dive into some of the things that he has been through, some of his experiences, and he got a word for you, especially about starting something new and just not being afraid. I'm going to let him tell his own story, but, man, tune in because it's about to be great. Jason, what's good, man? How you feeling today, first of all?
Man, listen, like I tell everybody, Brad, I woke up, I won. So take that, death.
Talk about it.
Take that, death.
Talk about it, man. And some people, we don't really value how gratitude shapes us in the morning. Just being able to open your eyes, because there's people that didn't. So what's going on in your life right now? What recent events have kind of like, put you in this position where you wanted to start something and, get on the camera?
Well, I say, okay, first of all, thank you for having me, bro. It's been years. I know we haven't been in touch, man, but, just like you, I'm kind of quick to just kind of get into it. So recently, I've had the honor when I didn't know what to do with myself and had to make some new changes in my life. I joined the military in January 24th of 2025. I just completed 24 years and 30 days in the military, United States Navy. So it's this is just where I'm at. This is what I'm doing, raising my family. My wife's we've been together this year. October makes 29 years we've been together.
9 years of marriage, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, 24 is married, but 29 together.
Got you.
So yeah. And then we got our 3 children that are grown. My son Jalen, 27, my daughter Jordan, 21, and my other one, daughter Jasmine, 20. So those 2 are in college. Those last 2 in college. So God is still showing his favor on me, even though I am who I am, but they love me regardless. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of where I'm at right now.
Man, shoot, let's speak just for a second just about that college experience, man, because you and I had an experience at the same institution like none other. And I know that's where you met your lovely wife, correct?
Oh yeah.
Man. So how was that experience? First, we're gonna call out the college. It was Oakwood College at the time. Now it's Oakwood University. Big stuff now. Exactly. And it's good to see the institution doing as well as it has. But let's talk about them early years. Like, what was the experience like for you at Oakwood, man?
My experience is kind of, I don't want to say tumultuous, but it was, first of all, I wasn't a Seventh-day Adventist when I went. I'd never heard of a Seventh-day Adventist. When I actually got there, I thought y'all was all Jehovah's Witnesses. So, I got there, I was literally, I was on Mars. Honestly, because it's not even just the fact of it being a Seventh-day Adventist school. It's also a matter of it was in Huntsville, Alabama. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So you took a city boy straight out and threw him in the South. And Huntsville was not what it looked like now. Huntsville was a lot of dirt, a lot of nothing out there. You know what I'm saying? So that whole experience in the beginning was a bit rough for me. And then, but I think God showed favor as I didn't know back then, but I guess I know now, but I met brothers like you, and then, of course, meeting my beautiful wife and then my life turning into what it became thus far. So, those years back then, this was like mid 90s. That was pretty rough back then, but
man. I definitely feel you on that tip of the city boy moving down south. You know what I'm saying? Very, very different as far as pace, people, everything. It was a little bit more developed. I went down in 98. After I graduated. So, yeah. It was late 90s. That's when I went down there. And, the thing was a lot of people from up here went down there. It was like we was like a crew, like a DC crew.
Oh, yes, you were. Yes, you were.
Like after like the first year, like a lot of people went home. You know what I'm saying? They left. And I don't know the reasons because that's personal. But knowing that coming in the sophomore year, living in the dorm all freshman year, and things were changing up, it was just different for me. And like the squad that I used to hang out with, they were not there. So kind of like you, I met like a different group of brothers. We banded together, and we in that frat, man, at G side, and it was an incredible experience. My line brothers, of course, my brothers to this day, they've been on the stream a couple times, and just the unity that we got. It don't matter if we ain't seen each other in like a very long time. Or like, recently, like it's all love every time, and our sisters as well. It's a wonderful thing, man. Wonderful thing. So after after the college experience and you jumping into the military, into the Navy, man, like what is that like? Like, what is the first week? Do you immediately like get shipped out to a port and you on a boat for a couple months? Like how is
So at the time, so okay, real quick backtrack was 2 years at Oakwood. Then I left. I went to UAH for about a year, and then I left school altogether because at that time, me and Dov had our son Jalen. So I thought at the time that was the best move to drop out of school was what I thought to be the best move at that time. And so I worked a ton of different odds and ends jobs at a bank. I cleaned houses at like construction spots. I worked in nursing homes. One thing they always used to say is like, "Damn, Jay, you always got a job." I got something to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, what happened was, honestly, bro, I didn't know what to do. And, you might hear me say this a lot, but my father is a preacher, and a Baptist preacher in Brooklyn, New York. And my father used to always say two things to me and my brothers, and it was just, when you don't know what to do something. And then when you still don't know what to do, pray. So I got to a point where I didn't know what to do, man. And I was just working, really wasn't spending no time with Dov and Jalen and stuff. Back then I used to smoke and drink and all that kind of stuff, bro. And honestly, my story is kind of like, I was sitting in my mother-in-law's living room in Marietta, Georgia, in her apartment, and I was just like, I was lost, man. I was lost. I was scared. And it was crazy because I was smoking. This particular night I was smoking and I was drinking, and bro, I couldn't get high. I couldn't get drunk. And so I just started crying, and I was like, yo, Lord, give me something. Say something. Like, I don't know what to do, right? Bro, without question, this is just my story, believe it or not. It's just, I'm sitting on the couch, bro, and the TV pops on. And it was one of them military commercials. That was on like March, I want to say 22nd of 2001. March 22nd of 2001. I got up the next day and went to the recruiter, bro. March 23rd, joined the Navy.
Dog, that March 22nd, that's one day before my birthday. I don't know why in the world that it's that eerily close, but those moments which you just articulated, the moments when you're down and out, you don't know what to do. Let me tell you why that's extremely important, especially now. Federal employee here, was there for 17 years, left at the beginning of March. I took the government buyout before I had the chance to be furloughed or let go or anything, because a lot of people in other divisions that no longer supported the new policies that our administration is putting in place, they got laid off. And that's a wild thing in the news right now. A lot of people got laid off, man. Absolutely. And there are a lot of people in your situation right now who have, like little side hustles and little things, but they're barely making ends meet. And I'm sure there have been times where they have been on the couch thinking the exact same thing. Can't get high, can't get drunk, can't find anything to numb what they got to do. And it's time for them to cry out. If they haven't, maybe their belief is low. Like the fact that you got an answer so rapidly, and even, did you expect like military? It was nothing that you had.
Yo, never. When I say never, man. My father's from New Orleans, Louisiana, man, and my mother's from Birmingham, Alabama. So they grew up in the 40s and the 50s. So you know what kind of circumstances they grew up under. So when it came down to that whole being in the military or joining the military, my father's mindset was, black man ain't got no place in no white man service. So, you know what I'm saying? So no, it was not.
Mercy.
No. And again, that's just a testament again that for those of us who are believers who just know sometimes, when what's they say, he may not come when you want him, but he always on time. God don't move on our time. It's for us to think that's kind of asinine, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of let God. That's all it is, man. And honestly, that was a time of genuine desperation, bro. I was desperate. There was nothing else. Even if I had money, like I said, I had money to get like, weed and liquor, but when I tell you I had nothing,
I've heard it said many times, man. Sometimes we don't look up at God until life knocks us flat on our back. You know what I'm saying? It's the wonderful thing about him is he's orchestrated the whole thing. He knows the circumstances in life that are going to push you all the way to the brink. He knows when you ain't going to have a dime in your pocket, when you're going to be overdrawn in the bank, when you're going to be so stressed out and have anxiety because you don't know what the next move is. He is designing things to get you to that point so you can finally depend on him. Because it's not like he has any lack. It's not like he don't know what you should do. Mm-hmm. It's not like life does not stop here. And I feel for people who can't resonate or who have difficulty resonating at that level and knowing that thought, because he is there, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not just in the four walls of a building. He's in your heart.
Yeah.
And it was probably like when you got that desperate prayer that when nobody else is around, you best believe that joint getting through.
Oh man, I ain't going on hold. Ain't no hold there. That's direct access right there. That's the song. That's the sound. That's the call. That's what he wanted to hear. That's what he wanted to hear. Like, there you go. I've stripped everything from you. Now I know when you do talk to me, you are talking to me under no other pretenses than you want me. And that's all God wants us to
want.
Come
on, man.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, like you said, we lose focus. We let the world interfere. We just so much. But when I start to think about it as I get older, man, I just start thinking like, dang, bro, God had our design, Brad, when he made Adam. That's how dope God is.
Yes.
When he made Adam, he knew Jason and Brad. He knew, like, this is, when I tell you he was so far ahead of us and he's so far past us, the only thing we'll be doing is embracing the present, too.
We can't fathom him. We're not supposed to be able to fathom him because then we'd be the creator. You know what I'm saying? If we could understand his way of thinking and how he does his moves, then how could he be as great as he is, man? And I'm definitely interested because usually when people branch out into unknowns, that's a tremendous act of faith. It's a tremendous act of faith. And man, the word says, without faith, it is impossible to please him. So he's sitting there rubbing his hands together because he can see either tomorrow, next week, next month. But he's like, at that point, they about to be bottom out. They're about to be rock bottom. They're about to be rock bottom. They're going to look up to me. And then I can finally get busy. But it has to be about me. It can't be, and just like you say, any kind of underlying tones, any type of desires that you think you're hiding, because he knows it. You can't lie to God. You can't lie to him.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to move forward from that and just talk about a little bit of your naval experience. Was there anybody that kind of like, befriended you early on, or was there a superior that you looked up to that you learned something valuable from? Could you talk about any of those experiences, like some acquaintances that you have? You're like, man, when I met this person, it just, whew.
Yeah, too many people. It's honestly, brother, that list is, there's no number. Like, I mean, I sit here for the next hour and call all kind of names and that'll probably be my first tour.
Bless
you know what I'm saying? So I got about, I want to say 7 tours under my belt, seven, yeah, they just call them tours. But and they've been around the world. That's a very unique component to my career in the military, is that I was never really stationed in the same place twice. I've never been on the same ship more than once. I have a diversified career, so I'm very grateful for that. But also, more than anything, my two biggest earthly claim to flames is, one, my family, of course, but also with regard to my career, everywhere I went in the world, my family was there with me. I was able to take my family to see it. So my wife and my children have literally lived around the world where I have been. So it ain't just me coming back home talking about it. They lived it, and then my wife lived it even more. There was times when I was gone and I'd be out for months. She'd be like, well, you know what? Since we in Europe, And so then I call home from the ship. I'm like, yeah, what's up with y'all at? You know, y'all going to such and such spot. So she like, we in Germany. Or, we in Paris. And I'm like, what? I loved it. I loved it, man. You know, my wife did it just as big as I did. So, yeah.
Let me tell you something I definitely know about those who travel. First of all, when I found the scripture, I think it's in Proverbs. It sounds like it's Proverbs. It says, a man who travels much has much wisdom. And the reason why that I think that strikes home is because you just get exposed to so many different cultures and people. The way people live in other countries, it really expands your mind to know that there are more people out of Washington than there are in Washington, D.C. or in Maryland or wherever you're from. They're more than just that. And of course, logically, we know that. But when you see it and experience it, I'm talking about customs. I'm talking about food. I'm talking about natural sites, like different types of architecture, different types of history for air. Like, it opens your mind up so much to the point where your awareness goes up and your gratitude goes up. Because I know you've been to places where people don't live nearly as well as they live here.
Bruh. You so crazy. You so on the money, right? Because I always tell people, like, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, home. So, you know, like I'm talking about, Jay-Z, Biggie, like hip hop. Like, I'm from New York, B.
Yeah.
And then I saw the world and I was like, yeah, I'm from New York. Yeah. You from Eastern New York? Oh, word. Yo, that's right next to Brownsville where Mike Tyson from. Yeah. But also in 2010, guess where I was? I was in Spain when they won the World Cup.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, my goodness.
You see what I'm saying? I done been to Burj Khalifa in Dubai. I climbed Mount Fuji. Like, bro, like all of this stuff it's documented. And the thing is, I didn't do it alone. I had my family the whole time. So, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Okay.
Right. When people ask it, I give them the same thing, man. I remember one of the most incredible experiences I had. It was in 2000 and 2008. That's when I went. I went in 2000. I went down to Rio, and I was able to attend the South American Championship Cup between Rio and Argentina. They had and when I tell you, it was one of the most raucous and incredible sporting events I'd ever been to. I don't like the Super Bowl, a basketball, maybe the Super Bowl, but any regular football game, nothing comes close. These people were screaming and jumping 3 hours before the game started. Nobody was even on the pitch. Mm-hmm. The only thing was on the pitch were like advertisements for the sponsors that supported the event. That's it. And these people were in the crowd lighting fireworks. Like one whole section of the stadium looked like it was on fire. They just had red Roman candles just shooting stuff. I was like,
Yep. I had to really catch myself quite a bit, especially when I came back from Japan. It's just you get exposed to and the things that I'm talking about or we're talking about are not extravagant things. I'm talking meals. I'm talking walks in the park. I'm talking day-to-day things. But the way it's done and appreciated in other countries, when we come back home, you what are y'all doing? Like, why am I walking down the street, on a nice day, but I'm also apprehensive? Where, because I could be robbed or mugged or killed. But when I'm not in America, I could walk freely, counting my money, or just living life, literally getting fresh. And then when you come back to this, to me, stifled box, you're like, oh, there's so much better. We could be so much better. We could be doing so much better. But what I'm saying is all of these things, all of these experiences that I was blessed to have, bro, I'm not rich. I'm not saying this to sound like I was balling. It's not. I'm not. It was just a matter of appreciating where I was, being grateful for where I was at that time. It's the words. I don't have words. And then, so that just makes me even more almost speechless to say, I don't even know what the future gonna hold. I don't know. But at the same time, what they say in the Middle East, inshallah, if it's God
inshallah,
will.
Right.
God will, it's God will.
Que sera, sera. That's what they say down in Latin America.
We will be. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I love that phrase, man. I'll tell you this much though, because I believe this is gonna resonate. Your exposure to so many cultures, so many places, and so many people. Like to even think about the conversations that we've randomly had with people at the airport, people on the plane, people who are just attracted to you based on your personality, your vibration, how many lives you've affected. Like we could literally have 100 episodes talking about each instance as we remember it, if we remember it. And the thing it propels us to do is like when there's a new frontier, when there's something new to engage in, we do it with a little bit less fear, because going to another country, especially when they don't speak your language, and adapting to the culture and being able to thrive, even though it's not your native language, that takes concentration. That's like an overcoming or an adaptation that, like in my spirit, I feel like this is what man was meant to do. This is what man was meant to do, man. And I even talked to a friend of mine in regards to, I was like, it's kind of like them video games to be mad popular. You dropped into a foreign area. Like all the kids is playing, what was it, Fortnite or something like that? I said, I know I sound old as a mug. We ain't have it that big. It was just like 007 jokes, you know what I'm saying? We run around corners shooting. But they got stuff where they literally, with nothing, drop you in the area, you and your squad, and you got to go around, find the resources you need, adapt to the terrain, and conquer. That's what you got to do. You do that. Doing that in real life.
Yo. You know what, Brad? I'm gonna tell you right now too. I don't think that this generation appreciates and it's sad that you got to call it an art form, but it seems like a dying art form of human interaction. Right? We go through it on the social world and the social media, so it says social, but for real, like I sit around sometimes, and one of my favorite pastimes, besides karaoke, but one of my favorite pastimes is people watching, bro. And I still people. Man, listen, the airport is my joint. Aside from all them crazy germs, son, I'll be sitting in the airport looking at people like, look at this, look at this. Look at that. And I'm still shallow, you know, I'm still a fool. I'll be like, look at this nigga's shoes. Look at that. Look at that. Why do you know, I still do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I can just sit back and, you know, conversate with, I don't even know if that's the word, but have a conversation with any and everybody from any walk of life, man. And I think that's a lot of it in part to, you know, our time, our generation. I think a lot of it has to do with my father used to say three things: the books you read, the people you surround yourself, and the questions you ask, right? And they all feed off of each other. Those are three pillars of success my father gave us as a child. And so, you know, those teachings, and when I go somewhere, man, and you couldn't tell me, bro, when I was in Spain, you couldn't tell me. I could have been the alcohol. It could have been alcohol, but you couldn't tell me I couldn't speak Spanish, bro. Because, yo, when you get in around love and appreciation and acceptance and like genuine, man, bro, you get to, I find myself just saying words like, you know, for no reason, like in Spanish, but I'm like, I know the word in English, but it just sounds better here. And then next, you know, what's the word? Immersion. Immersion into the culture. You're right, bro. We can do like 200 episodes, man.
I mean, this ain't the last one.
Crazy.
This ain't the last one, man, because there are some commonalities.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's like I want to touch on something.
Absolutely.
I think you like nailed it, man. I've been fastidiously studying Spanish for the last almost 2 years now. You know what I'm saying? I got a vicious Duolingo streak of 476.
Hold on, we just gonna go past the fact. Hold on. Go past the
Hold up. My next
fastidious in the city, bro.
Oh yeah. I'm a communication connoisseur, baby. I also got an app on my phone that drops me a new vocabulary word like every 4 hours or something. So I'm trying not to sound somniferous. You know what I'm saying? It's the part of me. It's the part of me now. So this is how my brain works. I'm like, if I know all these words in English, like how do I translate? Like learning another language is almost like a superpower for me, man.
Wow, bro.
Another power stone in my gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My next challenge, what I want to do is be immersed. You know what I'm saying? I want to. I'm getting to Spain. And I want to be immersed. I want to stay with a family. I got the N4X Spanish school, the program I'm trying to that I'm getting into, and I want to stay with a family so I can get that, that deep impression of it while I'm forced to speak it. And I'm not afraid of it because I'm like, I know enough right now to get by, but my comprehension from hearing needs to be improved. And the only way that is improved is if you're in immersion and everybody's speaking it all the time. Because from a class, you leave a class and then you go back home. Everybody's rapping to you in your native language. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. And it's just speaking on new things and moving into the conversation where it's like you're retired. Talk a little bit about your retirement and some of the aspects of things that have crossed your heart as far as to accomplish some of the new things. Like you can even dump in there better than karaoke, because I know if you do that right now, you probably make like the #1 karaoke bar in wherever you at. But just Go ahead, bust the unforgettable joint. The unforgettable, bust that joint, please.
In every way. How you doing? Good to see you.
He got the vibrato.
And forevermore. Yeah, don't start. Okay, so we back to square one, honestly, Brad, with when I joined the military, and now I'm out now and I'm back to, I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know. I've been institutionalized. I will say that. My wife jokes on me because I still speak, I still say the head, when I say head, I'm talking about the bathroom. You know what I mean? People talk to me and say, hey, we're going to do this, making plans. Oh, we're going to go eat and then we're going to go to karaoke and such. And then we're going to go. And I'm like, copy all, I still speak a certain way. I still operate a certain way. So how's it been? It's been very, very, pretty nerve-wracking, I gonna lie, because this, again, I got to learn y'all again. I came out saying, yeah, y'all some weird. I think I said that on one of my going lives. I was like, yeah, I came out thinking everybody was weirdos. And I had a dear friend of mine. He was like, yo, Jay, I hear you and I understand, but the sad part is you're the widow, because it's more civilians than there are military. You know what I mean? If you figure 400 million people in America, less than 1% serve the country. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's way less of us than y'all. So, coming out trying to understand how civilians and how the world operates now, and this new, the social media has been around now forever, but again, I didn't jump into it. And I'm just figuring it out, bro. I'm desperate again, but I'm desperate. I guess the difference between the first desperation and this desperation is like I'm desperate knowing I know I'm going to get an answer.
You got to you have a blueprint. That's right. So
I know that. You know what I'm saying? Back then it was like I'm butt naked in the desert. Like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what. That's the reason the God had to make such a drastic. This time I know the TV is going to come on.
And I want to speak to that just for a minute, because, bro, since the first time I met you, you're one of the most charismatic individuals that I've ever met. And we tend to meet people who are like that. You know what I'm saying? They just, there's a freedom about their character. There's not a judgment. There's an authenticity that people can feel when they speak to you. And I know they carried you for long distances, especially in your naval career. Like, I know that. And now that you got the experience behind that, from visiting all these countries, from experiencing so many cultures and so forth, I know there are like tons of lessons that are inside of your mind. But the reason why you are faithful and you know about the fact that you're going to get an answer is because you got the spirit in you, and it's going to pull out all that stuff that you maybe even thought you forgot. I guess the advent of jumping on and getting into social media a little bit more intricately has been something I struggle with too, as far as posting, having the thoughts, is this going to even be looked at? Is this going, you know what I'm saying? There's so many other people out there, the imposter syndrome, the fear of making a move and not taking action and what that can cost you. It'll have you back in depression, smoking and drinking like, man, what do I do next? When all you really got to do is leap out there on faith and watch how the Most High takes care of you because of what's in you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And even with the prospect of what we're doing here and the prospect of having more episodes like this, I'm sure it would be invaluable to the audience just because of the fact those stories are in us, bro. Mm-hmm. I also teach my coaching program how to tell stories, like how to draw out that emotion like you were still there, because that's what people are really looking for, especially now when there's so much uncertainty, there's so much chaos going on in the economy. People need to know that they can relate to somebody who's trying to help them. If you all the way up there on a high pedestal and people think they can't reach or relate to you, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to help you. And a lot of what you say is going to fall on deaf ears. But if you talk about the depths and the roads you took to get to where you are now and what you're still doing, because nobody's life is complete until we in the grave, baby. And we got a lot to do before that. Absolutely. I heard this minister say yesterday, I was watching a developmental program, and he said, one of the places on the earth that's full of the most potential is the graveyard. Mm-hmm. So many dreams that perished, didn't get started. Yeah. So much stuff that people wanted to do, they were too afraid to try. The greatest area of potential in the entire world is in a graveyard. He said, when God meets you face to face, or when you're about to take your last breath, you need to be empty. Mm-hmm. Paul wrote in his book, said, I've finished. I've done what I'm supposed to. I fought the good fight. I did everything I was supposed to do. And he left empty. That's how we're supposed to go out. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever your experience has been, somebody needs to benefit from it. Mm-hmm. And man, all you have to get yourself a platform. You know, this is a little shameless plug. I do podcast facilitation, and I'm going to get it out of you because this is what I'm here to do. I'm walking in my purpose. And I see you about to do it too, man. And I'm super appreciative of that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Love it.
When you call, that whole concept the other day, when I did that, go live, I went live. I guess that's not how, I don't even know how you say it, right? So I went live, and that was at the behest of my cousin lawyer, Joy Lynn Hunt. She also says the same similar things that you said. And she was just like, Jason, I guess it got to a frustration point with her, and she was just like, you're going to do this. And brother, when I tell you again, just move. When it's time to move, it's time to move, right? When God say move, you got to move, right? I don't know what I was doing. I don't know nothing. You can see I was all lopsided out there when I was doing it, right? And then 24 hours later, you call about this opportunity. And then 2 hours after I got off the phone with you, my homeboy Dell called me to be on his podcast too. And it's just kind of been just bang, 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 right? So again, I don't know what to do, but I'm doing something. I'm taking God's guidance, God's love, and God's over me, coupled with the second, who I call the second best man that ever walked the face of the earth next to Jesus, is my father, Dr. Johnny Ray Youngblood, and who gave me those tools of, you don't know what to do, son, do something. When you don't, and then when you still don't know what to do, pray. When God tells you move. Read, son. Ask questions, son. Watch who you're supposed to be around. All these old adages which have gotten me thus far, and my near 50 years of life, I think that's just testament to that. I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be testament to the move. So whatever you feeling and whatever you thinking in regards to who I am and who I am to be in the near future, bro, I appreciate it. I receive it. I thank you for it. I thank you for the opportunity. I really I'm liking talking to you, bro. This is very easy. That's what
I do. This is why I make it easy, man. I make it easy for people to jump in front of a camera, man. And I look at my role. Somebody asked me recently, it's like, how do you define what you do? I was like, you know what? Like, truth be told, I feel like a late night talk show host. Them Bama's was chill, like all the time. They would cross their leg, have a guest come out, say, we got a very lovely guest coming to us this evening. They've been sponsored in this, that, and the third. They're probably known for this, that, and the third. And tonight they're joining us. And so when that happened, man, I was just like, yeah, that's kind of what I do. And I want to speak to something though and tell my side of the story. When I saw you like do that live online, man, it was I was scrolling, and as soon as I saw you on there, something just yo, Jason, he's saying something. You know what I'm saying? And me knowing you from the amount that I've known you before in the past, and thinking about, it's like, man, I'd love to sit down and talk to this brother. And then I saw the video of you at the retirement ceremony too. I was like, oh, he got something to say. And the Most High told me, he was like, call Jason before this day is out. I remember hearing it like clean. It's like, call, text him, do something, reach out to him before the day is out. And so I said, all right, I don't even know if he will, rap, you remember me, talk to me. Then it all came together and I was like, see, those are the directions that you need to take. Because honestly, bro, the podcast that I recorded prior to this, like something didn't work out in the audio, something failed. I couldn't. And when I tried to edit it, I couldn't fix it. So it was like wasted 45 minutes to an hour. But, I learned more in my editing process how to do stuff, but I didn't get to put nothing up. And I hadn't put nothing up for a while. So this interview is coming like right on time, in the time it's supposed to happen, man, because
praise be to the Most High. Thank you for
all the time.
Yeah, man. That's all true. That's all right. Yeah, man. It came on time for you and it came on time for me. Like, wow, Yo, I'm gonna tell you, when it came to my ceremony, man, that's really unique about my ceremony was my ceremony was 3 hours long. I literally, yo, listen, my father and my brothers are Baptist preachers, and they was like, nigga, we don't be in church this long.
Black church is known for the good 4 hours, baby. Come on,
But what was so beautiful was that literally the spirit moved so wonderfully throughout that whole ceremony. Every single person, even if that's what they had to say, that's like the biggest, that joint was 3 hours long. ... But I never lost focus. I was always engaged. Everything, I had people coming up to me, hitting me, pushing me, and they were like, F you, Jay. You got us on this emotional roller coaster. It was just like, I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm doing this. And it's like, how do I surmise 24 years in an hour? You know what I'm saying? And then I thought it was going to be disrespectful for me to, my homeboy Ray, he was like, man, I was like, I ain't going to keep y'all there that long. And Ray came all the way from Alabama with him and Trent. And they was like, nigga, if I came all the way out there for 20 minutes, I'm gonna be upset. So I took the time, man. So that's the really crazy part, is that I literally have the record right now on that bass for the longest retirement ceremony. Yeah, bro, that was crazy.
But flowers are due, man. Don't hold it up, man. Time is our most precious commodity, and if it's spent well, spent in doing the right things, most of all, being grateful to the Most High and staying in touch with him, man, he moves all type of stuff around. There ain't no time lost with him. There's never time lost. He sits in eternity, and we're just, we're learning about this thing called life, man. And there's something else you said as far, as the advice that your father gave you and how it's kind of formed like a foundation, how you make your decisions, how you see the world and so forth. My granddad told me when he was on his deathbed, 2 things. He was like, always remain faithful and always remain humble. Now, the thing is, I tell people, when he said those words, and this is the subtleties and nuances of communication I look at, I can sit here and just say that, always be faithful, always be humble. I said the words, but it didn't carry the same weight like he said it. He closed his eyes first. He said, always be faithful. And then he looked me dead in the eye and he put his finger and he says, always remain humble. You see the weight and the gravity behind what is being said. It resonates because when he said those things, I saw and heard his experience of trying to always be faithful. I saw in his closing of his eyes that he wasn't always faithful, but God was. And then in the second part, when he says always be humble, I can tell by that stern look, it's a battle to remain humble because it's within us to be prideful. Within us to be prideful. It's within us to think of ourselves a little bit more so than anything else. And this is one thing I also find too, especially when I'm looking at a lot of self-development, information and people who are doing well in life and what they try to impart. There's a mindset of always hustling and always grinding. And it's true. You should pick up your, put on your shoes and get to work. But it should be for the betterment in the area where you already have strengths. Improve yourself and improve your knowledge. Read some books, develop, become a bigger and better person. Lead a country. Go see some other cultures. Let that be your hustle rather than fighting and scrounging and scratching for a dime or a dollar, because that stuff can be burned and taken away. Riches come and
that is, and all of that. Yeah, that's all fades. All of that fades.
Man.
That's things. Yeah.
So when you said that, man, I have attempted to the best of my ability to keep that at the forefront, man. And you really realize, what life is. What I want to get from you is kind of like the message that you have from people who are your age, people younger or older. Like as far as the theme of getting started with something, what would you have to say to somebody who is maybe apprehensive? Maybe they're your age or older. It's like, man, I ain't messing with you. I don't know what I'm doing. What is your word to them if you got one?
I did just recently hear a brother named Seth Gallarda. He's out of Riverside, California. I met him at a men's conference just recently with Myron. Yeah. Brother said a statement that, I've always known, but I just didn't know the words, man. Thinking thrives in silence. And so to answer your question with that phrase in the preface is to say, stop with the hurt, just stop, just shut everything off, stop, of course, pray and wait and just let the spirit move. Let the thoughts come. It's going to be a billion of them. Billion of them, right? And just let them come. The ones that are supposed to take movement will. Everything I have been doing got me there where I was, but I don't want to be there. I want to be somewhere else. So I have to make drastic turns or drastic changes. So I'm scared. Yes, I am. I don't know what's my next day to day. I'm not working right now. So what is my next coming and going? I don't know. Brad, I don't know. But it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Think, be grateful, and move when it's time to move. That's it. So be scared, but move when it's time to move. That's pretty much all it is, like how I'm living this day to day. And I said I was going to try to be consistent, creating process. So every Tuesday, so once a week, I'm not still ready. You told me we're going to work on the consistent content. Yeah. And the time I know I got to create my processes. So every Tuesday you will see me go live. So don't think nothing wrong. So, I'd be honored to have you back for more conversations, man. Cause this is, I know I can make conversations easy, but it's helpful when, the other person's coming kind of like from the same place I'm coming from. And I can tell that that's authentic with you. So I don't see this being the last time we do this. By any stretch of the means, that place of uncertainty, you may have found something with this. I know you're going to be on another podcast. Weigh that thing out. And man, just sit back and watch what the Most High does. Let me ask you this. Do you meditate? Because I've started a morning routine thanks to this book right here. It's called The Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod. Okay. And that book kind of like lays out a basic routine that you can employ. You can, shuffle it around as you see fit to see what works for you. And man, when I'm talking about ideation and meditation and visualization and affirmation, all that gets done before 7 a.m. for me. And it sets the tone for the day. And I cannot tell you how many ideas come to mind, how clear I get on the rest of my, I don't have moments where I'm sitting around like, okay, what do I do now? It's always from that morning session. And I'm just like, you already got the discipline because you like Navy. You know what I'm saying? Like to get up early and to get the day started. You know what that's about. They don't play about that stuff in the military. My processes are not very vast right now because, again, I'm not in the military anymore. So my process is like in terms of waking up, how I woke up or whatever like that. And then how I go out throughout the rest of my day. I do 16, 18-hour days. That big portion is gone. I actually only have so if you had a 16-hour day, now I really only have 2 hours, maybe three of processes. So I have to fill the rest of that. And that's what I'm waiting for the Lord to help me with, to fill also, because I know that God is the one who wakes me up every day, right? So I believe two of the most powerful words in the English language are thank you. And then I also believe that is a correlation between our appendages, the rule of two, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, right? Two. I kind of go with that, right? But when I say thank you, it's because when I wake up in the morning, when I realize that my body and my faculties are up and operational, I lay down, I'm laying in the bed, and then I make sure, I do a little quick assessment, like boom, everything is working, boom, 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 boom. I pray immediately, even laying down. So I figure I'm laying in prostrate for God. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for giving me a chance to try to get it right, right? And I go on about that concept, right? And then what I'm trying, when I practice meditation, but my new goal is to practice perfect meditation.
Okay.
Because what happens is I find myself in meditation and I would get distracted. You know, God bless my wife. She gets up. Sometimes my wife gets up and she's going and she's talking, and then it kind of throws that meditation off. So what I'm trying to practice now, put in my process, is at least right now, 5 minutes of perfect meditation. You know what I'm saying? Who's that? Vince Lombardi said, practice don't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah. The rep.
I perfect. If I meditate perfectly for 5, I can, and master that, I can meditate for 10 perfectly. Yeah. You know, and so forth and so on, right? But then I turn my body and I get up, and when I touch the ground, that's why I was going back to the rule of 2. I go, thank you. Thank you. I got this opportunity to do that, right? So I get up and then I go through my normal morning routine, go about my business, and then I go to the gym. I come home, and then that's where my processes have ended, have ceased. You know what I'm saying? So I have to feel that. So what I'm doing, just so in the future, you know, now is I'm looking to make myself what they call a VA commando. Okay. I want to learn everything that comes with being a veteran. Every aspect of it, of what myself, and more than anything, what me and my comrades who have fought or who are currently fighting, what we have in place that hopefully is not messed up by this administration, but that's, God is still on the throne. But in the meantime and in between time, you know, I promised myself, and I promised my wife too also, but I will become a VA commando. So that's kind of part of what my day is on a day-to-day basis, like sitting down, reading, trying to understand, you know, these words, you know what I'm saying, and become very fastidious with my studies. You know? My man. So you use the words, I love the creativity. You ever heard that, what they call it, black, what they say it's called black girl magic, but it's just black magic. Well, we are so beautiful as a people. We don't even have to really say nothing, our charisma. So when you said the words, the first thing I thought was, okay, big words. Oh man! Well, yeah. That boy, hey, Brad, it's good to see you, boy. Since then, you have developed a polysyllabic vocabulary, brother. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Hey, look. I'm here doing what the Most High has me to do. Because one thing that I used to do, as far as like being a self-proclaimed introvert, I didn't used to let this side of my character come out because I remember all the strange looks. It's like talking to people about, you know, what they're doing this time of day in Spain, and they looking at me like, nigga, who cares? You know what I'm saying? It's, you cap yourself. And one of the things I'm happy about is that the Most High has put me around more people to let me know that I don't have to do that anymore. Matter of fact, he don't want me to do that. So I'm not going to do that. And I, you know, continue to press on and be meticulous in how I use my words, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, man.
Word, man. And you know what? And it's cool to have a vocabulary.
Right.
You know, my father's recipe for success, those 3 things that I said, I love the way that, first of all, when he said it, he wanted us to just get the phrases, get the books you read, the questions you ask, the people you surround yourself with. Just know that first. So he did that for years. You know, it's one of those things when your parents say, yes, mom. Right. That's how it was for my father. That's how he said it that much all day, every day. And then when we got older and we broke it down, he said, the reason I say it to you like that, son, when I say read, is because, again, when you sitting around and you don't know what to do, son, pick up a book, read. Now, reading not just gives you, entertainment or whatever, but reading also teaches comprehension. It teaches thinking, but more importantly, it teaches words. Then what you do is you take that comprehension and those words, and then long as you're around the right people, Not somebody who gonna treat you like crap because you're using big words or feeling some kind of way. You know, like, oh, you think you smart. You know how our surroundings can be. Oh, you think you better. Oh, you think you the smarty y'all. You the smart like that. Okay, so that's why you watch the people you're around. But also, books are conversations.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it keeps you in a loop when you read the book, get the comprehension and understanding. Get around the right people to ask and talk to. And again, the asking is the asking of questions because it further enhances your success and your abilities and whatever. And he used to say, I don't care what you read, just read, get words, get information, get it. So I love the fact that he told us that, but at the same time, when the time was right, he was wise enough to know when to break the formula down as to why this is so important.
One of the most powerful things that I learned from the movie Malcolm X was when he got incarcerated and read the dictionary from front to back. And my granddad employed the same thing because he was a wordsmith. So when it came to hearing him use big words, I will always go back and look them up just because I was curious. But that was the spark that the most I put in me from a young age, man. And knowing that we have this capability, knowing that we got the charisma and the ability to share our gifts in such a way that other people can benefit is the reason why this platform is. So, bro, I thank you for your time today. We're going to have many more conversations just like this. This is BTonez of the ToneMasters, and that's what we do here. We provide a space for people to let their light shine, to get their voice heard, and to, you know, sit down and just have a normal conversation and let their humanity shine through instead of trying to prove a point or be something that they're not. So until the next time we meet, like I always say, may the Most High bless and keep you and stay blessed.